What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rhodes coming at you with another video, and sorry it's taken me a few weeks because I've been busy and haven't been able to have a chance to talk about, make videos. I've had some life events go on, but I stumbled across a video that just got my gander, which is a real life understatement. In a nutshell, a security officer quit on live TV. And when you see why he quit on live TV, I can't blame him one bit. The good news coming out of this is there's a local establishment that saw his story and he hired him right off the bat. And he's a level 2 security officer out of Austin, Texas. And this has a happy ending, but I want to show you the video, just why I got so upset about this to start. And the video is going to be courtesy of Fox 7 out of Austin, Texas. I'll be playing this under fair use, and I'm going to be stopping it along the way so I can break it down and kind of give you my take on it as we go. So stand by. Hold on just a second. Here we go.
A security guard is speaking out after he was attacked on the job by two guys he believes were trying to steal his car.
He says he is disappointed in how police and his boss handled the situation. Fox 7's John Krinjak joining us live from East Austin with more on this tonight. John.
Yeah, Mike, Rebecca, we interviewed security officer Percy Payne outside this garage where the attack happened on Monday night. During our interview, Percy Payne's supervisor showed up. An argument ensued between the two of them. That argument ended with Mr. Payne quitting his job and the supervisor saying that the attack was his fault.
I'm going to stop right there. If I had a supervisor telling me it was all my fault, I'm doing my job. This officer handled it so much better than I would have handled it. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let's continue watching.
This was not how security guard Percy Payne expected his shift to go Monday night at this office building on East 6th and Brushy.
I commend him right there for going after him unarmed. I'm not a believer in unarmed security. Unarmed security is nothing more than an A1 joke as far as I'm concerned.
It all started around 9:30 when he spotted on surveillance video two guys going inside the private underground garage. The door was apparently stuck open.
I witnessed two young Hispanic males on two electric scooters.
He went downstairs to check it out, and he says he saw the teens messing around with his personal car.
One individual was at my driver door with his back to me, looking back. The other individual was at my passenger door, facing me, being a lookout.
The suspects saw him and ran off. He chased after them and says he tried to detain them until someone could call the cops. Then things got physical.
Young individual tried to run me over with his scooter multiple times, and then that's when they started to.
Stop it right there. You try to run me over, whatever, the fight's on. He's made an attack towards you. The fight's on. That's simple.
Assault.
Payne says he noticed a screwdriver in one of their pockets.
I heard the individual say, "Hold him," and that's when he went for the screwdriver to try to stab me. I let them go and immediately went to get my work phone to call 911.
Payne told the dispatcher he wasn't hurt badly enough to require EMS, but needed an officer to respond because of what happened to him.
Even though I told her I got assaulted, she told me we will not be sending police officers out there because they did not steal your car. And that is when I hung up.
He called 911 again.
And law enforcement wonders why there's a lot of people that don't like him nowadays because of situations like that. This gets better.
A few minutes later,
I got a different operator. I told her the situation. She apologized.
About an hour after
Copsplaining in this particular case.
that, an officer did arrive who Payne says was very helpful, and the attack is being investigated by detectives as an aggravated assault.
Officer told me that call should have been an emergency case.
APD telling Fox 7 Wednesday night they listened to both 911 calls and, quote, "It sounds like it was handled correctly and within policy."
Copsplaining at its finest.
APD says an officer didn't respond the first time because it didn't meet certain criteria. Quote, the suspects were no longer on scene in this case. The caller stated that he was fine, did not need EMS, and no vehicle was stolen. So we would not respond to an attempted car break-in or a stolen vehicle.
I want to break down something on this. I have always had better success when I've called the non-emergency number, even working security, not working security. Because I've been through a citizen police academy here locally, and it kind of taught me a lot about how the dispatchers will treat, the order of priority when a call is coming into the 911 center, and they're ranked in a priority order of how they're going to respond to them. When I've called the non-emergency number, I tell them what I got going on. I had to do this not too long ago, personally, for a situation here locally, and I was able to talk to an officer right then, right away. I went down to the station. I didn't have a problem with that, because I didn't want him coming here. I didn't want to come in here and making the situation worse when it didn't need to be. But I did want to talk to somebody. So, just a word out there, I found it better talking to officers, getting officers out when I've called the non-emergency number versus 911. It's not always going to go down when 911 happens. It's going to be ranked by priority. Where priority 1, you got a shooter active shooter, burglary in progress, type 2. I'm just throwing out examples on there.
Attempt.
I don't think that it was taken as seriously as it should have been.
It was
and I agree on that. It wasn't taken as seriously as it should have been, at least at first.
We're discussing this that Payne's supervisor with Preby Security walked up and asked him to stop talking with us while he was on the job.
We are very sorry that happened to you. We have a policy. You're not supposed to do any interviews in your uniform.
Now, I can understand that. I can understand that. Law enforcement when the media wants to go find out, report a story, law enforcement has a PIO, public information officer. Every security agency out there should have their own PIO or designated representative to give them the statement or the control statement. Because I'll tell you something about the media. They want a negative story because they want to report something negative. I don't know if you've ever noticed when you're reporting a lot of crime, you don't hear a lot about the good guys, law enforcement or even security for that matter. You mostly hear about the bad guys and not the good guys in the respective professions.
If you want to do this as a private citizen, you can.
I understand what you're saying, but it's also my safety.
And
this is the only way my situation will get out there.
Things escalated with Percy making the decision to quit.
Take your uniform off.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But the argument continued.
Look, Percy,
I'm pretty sure.
I wouldn't have touched him.
Excuse me.
You touched him.
Is it my fault?
I would say yes. Every bit of it is your fault.
Okay.
And sir, you handled that so much better than I would have. I would have decked her right then and there. You're gonna get arrested. You're gonna go to jail. Whatever. But she said nothing personal. It's just business. That would have made it 12 times as worse. Lady, congratulations. You're the prime example of why I have such dislike for multiple security agencies. You treat this officer like he's just a disposable body. He quits on you, and you probably lost. And to find out in a subsequent interview that he got hired on by somebody, it was his gain, yours loss. But that's why we have the problems in security that we do. Multiple turnover, the turnover problem, because you treat people like they're crap when they're doing their job. Now, I've heard it said that it's always security's fault. Yeah, but I don't need to hear it from my agency. I would like to think my agency's going to back me up. I had a captain a long time ago used to tell me this. Learn to care about your guys because the world don't give two flips about you. I'm a firm believer in that. You don't treat your people like they're crap. You listen to them. I mean, in this particular case, I would have made sure he got a detailed incident report. put it on was daily entry, I probably would have made a complaint. Not that it would have done any good. I can see that, but I would have made a complaint anyway, just because. Because that could have gone serious. That could have gone south real quick. But what do I know? I'm just giving you guys my take on this.
Okay. Thank you. Here you go.
No worries.
The fact that my supervisor basically told me it was my fault that I got assaulted, that let me know all I needed to know.
And that let me know all I needed to know, too.
Now, tonight, Payne tells me he does not regret walking away from his job. I did speak on the phone with someone from Preby Security earlier this evening who said, quote, "We are in the process of gathering details. We have been made aware of it and are looking into the situation." Now, Payne says the suspects appear to be between the ages of...
I'm going to stop the video right here because it's all what it's talking about here at this point. It's talking about the description of the suspects that attacked this officer. Now, I got a little bit of an editorial I got to do on this. One, you don't treat security officers like they're disposable pieces of garbage, like the supervisor did to this guy. He was doing his job. Now, I agree he probably shouldn't have made the interview. Shouldn't have done the interview in uniform. I get that. But still, I mean, he was messing with it. He was messing with his property. I probably would have been doing the same thing because that's my ride to and from work. If I'm supposed to let him break it, but your job is to serve a report. Okay, here's the deal. I'm supposed to just observe and report, let him break in my vehicle, take my stuff. My vehicle becomes disabled and I can't get to and from work, that agent's gonna can me in a habit. But that's the nature of security. Well, that's gotta change. That's gotta change. I probably would have been talking to him, making sure he's okay. And I'll tell you something I learned in the Citizen Police Academy that I attended here locally about 9 years ago. Police officers have peer support groups. They have where they can help them out and send them the resources that happens when life gets them. When officers are in officer-involved shootings. I mean, I've seen this. They have to. They got people that they can talk to. About what happened, help them work and sort it out. This supervisor just saying, "Oh, we'll just kick you off there." I'll tell you what. According to, there's a study coming out, and I'm going to probably talk about this in the next video. I know the suicide rate among security officers is high, but this is one aspect of it that needs to change. It needs to change real quick. When your officers or your guys are involved in a major situation, one of their worst professional days, you want to be there to help them, to assist them, talk them through it, get them resources that they need to get, help them work through whatever the things they did. Because I'll tell you something, I had a situation when I was working where me and another officer had to detain a guy that was on acid. And I tell you what, and I went to our chaplain and I broke down crying. Things like this happen. I'll tell you that. Things like this happen. But if you're not looking out for your guys, they're going to go elsewhere. They're going to have nervous breakdowns, or they're going to say to hell with this profession. And I'm sorry to say this, but the profession in a nutshell, when I see it make a step forward, I see something like this. It makes me think security profession is taking 2 steps backwards. Things have to change on the agency level, on the law enforcement level, and to where, because security and law enforcement, although they're different professions, you're fighting crime. Security on the local and private side, law enforcement, you're on the public side. There's got to be a better way to work together. That's all I got to say about that. Anyway, I'm going to quote a line from an old friend of mine, Reaper One: "Trust is earned, loyalty is returned." With that, I'm going to bid you a pleasant adieu. See you guys on the next video.